We live in a generation saturated with theology. Thousands of sermons are available at our fingertips, alongside endless religious theory and deep textual analysis. Yet this abundance of information has not translated into actual spiritual power. In contrast, historical accounts of previous generations describe individuals who carried a tangible, compelling authority. These figures commanded a power capable of healing the sick and intervening in the natural world. For modern believers, God has become a conceptual character, restricted to the pages of a book. Religion is reduced to exegesis. Exegesis is the critical explanation of a text. However, studying a historical record is distinct from interacting with a living entity. The ultimate alarm system revealing this lack of power is the unavoidable crisis. The unpredictable circumstances of life serve as a diagnostic tool for our actual spiritual state. When sudden illness or hardship strikes, believers frequently scramble for human intervention. This panic indicates that mental knowledge about divinity provides no practical defense against a real-world threat. Memorizing scripture provides facts, but it does not grant authority over physical crises. Escaping this state of helplessness requires an experiential encounter rather than more reading. Spiritual power is a specific function of a direct divine encounter. It is an earned state of authority rather than an automatic birthright. This chart illustrates the distinction between a child and a son of God. A child has access to abundance, but only a son possesses the authority to govern reality. This transition is triggered by sustained encounters, moving from simple access into active governance. During this process of waiting on God, human limitations begin to fade. An individual begins mounting up, rising above earthly constraints, to observe realities that exist entirely outside of human civilization. Prolonged prayer functions as a deliberate technology for spiritual ascension. This mechanism reconfigures an individual's spiritual capacity, moving beyond mere physical endurance. The first historical prototype of this mechanic is Adam in the Garden of Eden. Adam's existence was defined by his daily routine of looking at the voice of God. By continuously beholding this presence, he absorbed and mirrored that divine nature into the physical world. This alignment allowed Adam to function with an authority that expanded into the cosmos. He established nomenclature, the specific names and classifications for all creation, and as the patriarch of the earth, he possessed the capacity to command the galaxies and constellations. Every element of nature, from trees to wildlife, submitted to him. This was not a result of forced control. They recognized the reflection of divine glory he carried and responded accordingly. The human design intended for effortless rule over earthly elements. However, this dominion is only possible when a person continuously beholds a heavenly reality. Moses provides a second proof of this ascensional mechanic. To access power, he climbed the physical and spiritual heights of Mount Sinai, a peak rising over 9,000 feet. Moses isolated himself and waited for days until the Shekinah presence entirely enveloped him. Shekinah refers to the physical dwelling or settling of the divine presence of God. Upon his descent, Moses had integrated with the divine so intensely that his face physically radiated light. His spoken words became the literal laws of his society. This level of authority allowed him to command the physical earth to open and swallow threats. He possessed dominion over both visible and invisible realities. Absolute authority over physical obstacles is granted only through what a person witnesses while waiting on the spiritual mountain. Eventually, everyone must descend back into the valley, the physical world of bills, sickness, and earthly pressure. A common error among modern believers is attempting to command earthly mountains to move without ever spending the time to touch the divine first. Refusing to spend time commanding things in the spiritual realm results in coming down to earth and being commanded by circumstances. Words spoken without the backing of a spiritual encounter lack the life required to bend reality. They are merely sounds without authority. You must stop using your life for trial and error by fighting problems head-on. The battleground must be shifted entirely. Instead of struggling against a physical problem or waiting for a human impartation, You must labor in the spirit to see divine reality for yourself. You are controlled by what you behold. True dominion belongs to those who ascend above the earth, wait in the presence, and return as a reflection of divine power.